Fit for Life Radio, episode number 146. Today, your hosts, I'm Gary.
Host with the most, I'm Will.
We'll be discussing 3 myths that you need to stop believing.
They just won't die.
Yep. What's the, is it Journey, Don't Stop Believing?
Yeah. Please stop believing.
Yeah.
Is what we want.
Please stop believing.
We got to get away from this.
Let's go right in.
Yeah.
I know.
It was hard to pick just 3 because there's like 400 of them, but these are, I think, 3 that we see a lot, and we just need to slap them down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. The first one is the first myth, exercise myth, that needs to die, that you can target your fat burn, also known as like spot reducing fat. Now in general, unfortunately, it hasn't died, which means people still maybe talk about it. But especially back in like the 90s, people thought this was like a thing, right? We're looking at ourselves, and maybe you have, stomach fat. So you're like, I want to lose fat from my stomach. So you would, let me go do an exercise
that uses my stomach,
that targets that area where I feel that.
So you end up doing like 1,000 crunches.
1,000 crunches. Or you're looking at your arm, and, maybe there's some fat hanging from your tricep. Yep. The old.
So then you're doing kickbacks with a 1-pounder.
Yeah, I'm gonna work my tricep area, and it's just not a thing.
It just doesn't work that way, right? I wish it did. It'd be great.
Yeah,
it'd be easy. Like, I just want to make this smaller or bigger, and you can target the area, but yeah, we just can't do it.
Yeah.
So,
like literally, no matter how bad you want it to be true, you just gotta empty it from your brain. It's not a reality. We gain and lose fat based off of our energy balance, and also where we gain and lose fat from. It's a process that our body kind of decides.
It's not up to us.
Yeah. There's a general kind of order, and then there's also individual.
Yeah. So everybody has their own
things. So
places where they are going to gain fat first, and also where they're going to lose last, basically, which are going to be the same.
For example, in general, say you're starting and you have, super low body fat. Most people, the first place we're going to store fat is around our kind of stomach area. And therefore, that means the last place we're going to lose it from is our stomach area. Another, as we gain fat, we're getting, and you have, stomach fat gets added, fat around our, lower back, glutes, thighs typically, and then one of the last places our body stores fat is like our shoulders and stuff,
and our neck and our.
So then you'll typically, if you start to lose fat, that's where you see it come from first. You'll notice your shoulders get leaner, and maybe your upper arms and things like that. There's an order, so that means you can't really force it. And the best approach is you want to separate exercise from burning fat, and think of like, well, I'm exercising to be stronger, to be more physically capable, for muscle health, for bone health, for joint and ligament health, and stress relief, and boosting my mood and brain. So exercise for all those reasons, right?
And not because
I'm trying to burn fat from
I
a
want a
area.
Smaller waist, so I'm doing all this core stuff. It just and it's like a weird expectation, right? So say you're just doing nothing but crunches every day. You're like, I've been doing this for a month and nothing's changed. You're going to get frustrated just because you're off the mark a lot. It's just a weird, a wrong expectation to have.
Yeah. And here's the problem with something like crunches, right? So that's a common example where people will do, well, let me do more crunches for my core to lose weight from there. And the problem is it's probably the least helpful thing if at all possible, because, well, now most crunches and stuff, you're on the floor. So you're laying down. There's not much other stuff going on, and it's not even really what our core musculature
is used for.
Its main thing is to kind of stabilize our spine, right? Which means, well, guess what? When we're doing basically any other exercise, standing, when you do squats and deadlifts,
but your core has to work, and
lunges, and you're working. Your core is working. So really, what it comes down to is especially if you're limited on time that you have to use to of your busy day.
Crunches are a terrible bang for your buck.
Yeah, you're just wasting time that you could be doing much more effective
Like
stuff.
you would get more out of just doing some squats than you would just laying on your back doing some crunches.
Yeah. And the reality is working your whole body is going to do more to aid any fat loss goal or process in that because we're working and maintaining our muscle. So nothing short term, but long term, yeah, like it's going to be way more effective than just laying down and doing 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 5 minutes of crunches. So, yeah, that myth of spot reducing is zero helpful.
Patently false. Just doesn't work. So,
All right.
next.
Crossing that one out. Next is one that's gotten a lot better. I was actually thinking about this at the gym the other day. So lifting heavy weights. So basically weightlifting will bulk you up. You know, and even more specifically, it's a bigger concern with women, right? Oh, if I lift heavy weights, I'm going to get bulky.
Yeah, I don't want to get bulky.
And the reality is, well, it's a little too general of a statement because what is bulk?
Yeah, what does it even really
when
mean?
we say bulky, well, we'll take that as like circumference of body parts, right? So if you measured your arm or just in general your legs and things like that, that's normally what people are thinking of.
Yeah.
Like they don't want their arms and legs to get bigger, but when we gain fat, that's bulk too,
Yeah.
right? And fat sits on top of our muscles.
And takes up more volume.
More volume of space. So like if you look like 5 pounds of fat versus 5 pounds of muscle, same amount of weight, the muscle is a lot less volume. So actually if you traded 5 pounds of muscle for 5 pounds of fat, you would be smaller. You would,
And I guarantee everybody would like how they looked.
yeah,
if
you would
that
be
happened.
less bulky. The other thing is too, we're also limited by our genetic potential
Yeah.
to gain muscle.
Like you're not going to accidentally look like a bodybuilder because you lifted weights for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't happen
Yeah,
that way.
I've been doing it for 16 years, right? And no one would confuse me for like bulky.
Yeah.
So now some people may, naturally be predisposed to gaining muscle real easy.
And already like naturally kind of muscular. Some people just have
Yeah.
that. That's their genetics.
But even then, for women, it's just it's less than men.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're like taking steroids and purposely, and then also it doesn't happen by accident, right?
Like
So,
you have to train hard
yeah, you would
to get to that point.
You would have to have your whole life revolve around it. And the other catch is to gain muscle, especially at like as maximize it, you have to have extra calories.
Yeah, like
so
you got to be eating a good amount of food.
the goals are, you would really then need to address your nutrition, because if your goal is to, just maintain or even slim down or maintain a certain body composition, well, to do that, you cannot consume more calories than you need. Now, and also, if you are, lifting weights hard and heavy and, consuming more calories, those extra calories will go to building new muscle, and also you still can gain fat, right? So the reality is, if you are getting bulky to a way you don't want to,
You're just eating too many calories.
yes, the solution is actually in your nutrition. So it's funny, it comes same as the first myth, spot reduce. The solution comes down to our nutrition intake.
Yep.
I don't want to get bulky.
Then don't be in a surplus.
Has nothing to do with the exercise, right? And then the reality is, if you have this fear from this myth, you're missing out on so many benefits.
Yeah. Like strength training and getting strong, it just benefits so much stuff, just physically, mentally, hormonally. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so much involved that it helps. And, you're worried about some arbitrary thing that most likely will not happen unless you dedicate a lot of your time to it,
Yeah.
of getting bulky.
And the reality is, talk to any woman over 35, 40, and the problems start to be, I gain fat really easily, I feel like, or I am, I get injured real easily. And then as we get even older and older, it's like, I have scarcopenia, I have osteoporosis. And the reality is, strength training helps with those things.
Every
Resistance
single
training,
one of them.
yes, they help with preventing the loss of muscle mass, with building bone density, increasing the rate at which your body burns calories, right? So the thing that we end up avoiding because of a myth actually is the thing that helps us with all these
The most.
all these other issues.
Yeah. Yeah. So I promise you, you are not accidentally going to be the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I wish it was like that.
Yeah.
You know, like the two of us, just naturally small frame guys, we would probably kill for that to be the case.
Yeah.
But it's just not the reality.
Yep.
So, yeah, squashed. You're not going to
Stamp.
get bulky.
Number 3.
Number 3. So this one's hard to break. Over the years, I think people have always thought of, being real sweaty and tired and sore are all like the indicators that like I got a good productive workout in, right? And like that's what people shoot for. I need to be sweating, which usually leads to people not resting enough. They're always moving. They're trying to keep their heart rate up the entire time. And it ends up being not productive. And the reality is, you and I have done this for long enough. It's not hard to make somebody tired. Yeah. It's really not. Like we could do anything to just make people tired during a workout.
Let's take all 3. Sweaty. Oh, how sweaty am I? Well, if it's humid and it's summer, you can just sit in your car and sweat.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously that's not a good workout, but you're sweating.
But you're sweating.
So that that eliminates that. That has more to do with. Or if you go to the gym with 3 sweatshirts on,
of course you're going to be
sweat more, regardless of. You could do the same workout with no sweatshirts on, you're going to sweat less, right? So it has more to do with body temperature, outside temperature, even genetics a little bit, and then you have fatigue, right? Okay, well, fatigue, being exhausted is we can accomplish that. I mean, you could just run circles around something, do 15 burpees. I mean, you can just do anything long enough.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
Yeah, and you'll get tired
and
from it.
You're going to get tired,
but
right?
that doesn't mean you're going to get anything out of it.
Yeah. And it actually means if you train to a fatigued state too often, you could not fully be recovering. You could expose yourself to higher risk, by doing things that can be relatively dangerous in that extremely fatigued state.
And that's how injuries happen
and
a lot of
then
times.
Soreness, right, is another one. So soreness actually comes more from, so 2 things can make a big difference when we do exercises where we're in a more stretched, lengthened position. It's going to cause more soreness. And also when something's newer, a newer stimulus to our nervous system, it typically causes more soreness. So you could technically just make someone more sore like by doing certain exercises only and changing them all the time, right? So, but that doesn't mean that it's more effective. It's actually less, because if you're changing the exercises all the time, it's harder to track and actually progress.
Mm-hmm.
And your body and nervous system never
start adapting
to where you can have these other stimuluses. So yeah, and you'll notice LinkedIn exercises, so things like Romanian deadlifts.
Everybody knows how RDLs feel
the
next day.
ab wheel.
Yes.
Calf raises. Yeah, like you can do these exercises and you'll be sore, not because, they are great exercises.
Oh yeah, I love them.
It's not because they just put your muscles in a fully lengthened stretch position, which again leads
And
to
that's
some
where the
soreness.
load is the heaviest on those movements too. So that's why it
Yeah.
wrecks them.
And you ever notice, or you experiment this with yourself, you can do the same workout and then you're progressing on it, which actually does mean you're making progress. But yeah, go ahead, be consistent, get your diet right, get your sleep right, and you'll barely be sore. And say, if you're judging a good workout on soreness, the reality is that is as productive as it gets. But then you could go take a week off or 2 weeks off and then go back to doing the exact same workout, and you're going to be super sore.
Yeah.
So the reality is not, and even do less than you were doing before. So in reality, it's actually less productive. You kind of got to build back up, but you're more sore. So it was less productive. The more soreness is literally because you had some time off. Now it's kind of new a little bit, and your body's not as good at recovering, right? It's that kind of adaptation and stimulus of recovery is off, right? So to speak. So yeah, again, when you know what to track for productiveness, then soreness, you start to see kind of how it's just.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a thing that's there, but it shouldn't be your marker.
Yeah.
Right? A good marker, especially if you're, your strength training is, am I continuously over time improving somehow? Am I able to do more reps at this weight? Am I going up in weight over time? If you're doing all of that and you're progressing and you're not sore, then like you hit the holy grail and there's like nothing to complain about, right? Like you're improving, you're getting better, you're getting stronger, you're probably building muscle, and you're not having any of the negative side effects of working out.
Yeah.
So like I know some people do have that, they like to feel accomplished, and that's the being sore makes them feel accomplished, but getting better should be what makes you feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Because you can get sore doing things that aren't productive, right? If I did 400 dumbbell curls with a 5-pound weight, like I'm going to be freaking sore the next day, but is that even going to help me get stronger? You know? So there are ways to be sore and have it not be productive at all. So that's why it is a poor indicator.
Yeah. And some of the newer science too, it's like, I mean, this was the old adage, and yeah, it stands of, so yeah, this is not a myth, is stimulate, don't annihilate, right? So we want to just provide enough little new stimulus to where the body can recover from it and adapt. But if we provide too much, it actually just provides way more damage.
And your body's just trying to get back to baseline.
Yeah, and then your body also has to then kind of like repair all that extra damage.
Instead of building new tissue.
Yeah, and new adaptions, right? Same thing with cardiovascular stuff, right? You talk to, like, it's not, when you're a kid or if you don't know what you're doing, you just go out, I'm going to run as hard as I can. And the next day, I'm going to just gut it out a little more to try to get a little, and literally all you're doing is actually going out and competing every day with yourself. But the thing is, that's not how people train to get better. Like because you'll just burn out, right? You actually, hey, let me train in different intensities and then monitor my progress within these training blocks of these different intensities and things like that. And you look at any sport, right? If you grew up playing sports, you didn't. It's funny, another myth, right? You got to practice like you play. And like no one.
Because then you get to the game and you're smoked.
Yeah, because when there's competition, there's different a lot going on in your body, and you just can't do that every day to compete at those levels. So you look at like football, right?
The day before the game, what are you doing?
Yeah, look at game intensity, but then look at a practice.
Yeah.
Right? You may have some moments, but for the most part, they're working drills. They're walking around.
You're running routes.
You're
and then recovering. And like what we used to do, I'm sure a lot of places are like this. Thursdays, because games were on Fridays, you did walkthroughs. No one's getting the crap beat out of them because we have a game and we need to perform the next day.
Yeah.
So why would we go insanely hard the day before?
Yep.
Because then you get people that are sore going into the game. They're fatigued. They're hurt. And it just doesn't make sense to do that.
Yeah. I mean, when I ran track, say you want to improve your mile, you didn't just go run the mile every day as fast as you could.
No.
You would then, hey, what's my mile pace? Oh, let me break that down into 100-meter repeats. So at a pace a little faster than your mile pace, but so you're able to. But then you actually just run, say, the 400 and then you would rest 5 minutes and then run again at another, at that pace.
Yeah.
And then rest a couple days, right? And then you would even maybe do longer, slower. Like, hey, I'm going to keep my heart rate under 130, and maybe I can see how far I can go in 10 minutes, right, at this pace. And then over time, you can go a little further at that lower intensity. It means you're making progress.
Yeah.
Then you may go test/compete your actual mile,
because you've been working on these different aspects
and
of
then
it.
see improvement, right? So yeah, again, obviously we're just using examples of nitty-gritty stuff, but the point is that the best way to find progress with your training is through tracking metrics, tracking things, and ultimately not killing yourself.
No.
Not just chasing sweat, fatigue,
Soreness.
Those aren't the indicators you're looking for. That
No.
should not be what you say, oh, that was a good workout, or oh, that wasn't a good workout. If you're using those indicators, then you're way off the mark.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
Wait.
just meh.
Yeah. And now and again, we get endorphins and all this, and the feelings, our feelings, getting our feels.
Feels good.
Right? I mean, you could spin it around. Look at, like, relationships, right? I mean, how many times it's like, oh, this, maybe someone treats you like crap, but hey, they also have moments where they can make you feel good, and you get attached to those. But then the reality is like, no, this is not a good relationship.
The majority is garbage, and those
Yeah.
little moments,
Yeah.
would keep you hanging on.
Yeah, and that's what happens with bad workouts. The reality is, oftentimes bad workouts, you have these moments that we feel good because we're tired, so it must be effective.
Or I'm so sore the next day.
And then we label it a good workout, but the reality is,
just garbage.
it's a wife beater.
Yeah.
It's a bad
Seriously,
relationship.
it's terrible.
Like, it's a terrible workout. And we keep going back for more.
Don't go back for more.
Don't go for, say no.
Really, this is something. I mean, we've said this a lot over the years. The goal with training is really to do the least amount you need to get the stimulus that you want, right?
Yeah.
If you're overdoing it and getting the same stimulus as you would if you were kind of doing the bare minimum, why are you doing all the extra work
Yeah.
and all that added stress and fatigue? Same thing with nutrition. Like, if your goal is to lose weight, really, you want to eat the most food to lose that weight that you can.
And here's the biggest problem, I think, with the exercise and where the connection comes from which is the faulty part from the beginning, which we addressed earlier. A lot of people will be doing exercise to lose weight.
Yeah.
So then, their mind, well, if I'm more tired, I'm burning more calories. If I'm more fatigued, some people maybe even think they lose fat through sweat or something, right? So it's like,
Which, that's a whole nother one.
so right there, it's like you're chasing the complete wrong. What you should be trying to gain from the exercise is like strength, cardiovascular endurance. On a broad spectrum, like, that would basically be it.
That
right?
sums it up.
And so those other indicators mean nothing. You need to be tracking performance, progress, intensity, things like that, right? Now, and if you were really hoping your ultimate goal was to maybe lose weight or something, you got to separate that. Like, exercise for these other reasons, it's also helpful in the long run. But then, okay, you're gonna have to dive into
Nutrition.
eating. So that's step one, right? And and here's the thing: sweating does feel good, right? And
it is good for
It is
you
a
to
natural
sweat.
process, but realize, like, you can go sit in a sauna and sweat and reap the benefits, right?
Yeah.
Or sit in your car. Like, don't chase that from your workout, because
Yeah.
that's your body. It's like, again, don't just beat it down just to beat it down. If you really want to sweat, again, go to a sauna if it's in the winter, right? Or just go sit outside when it's summer.
Especially the summer here.
So,
Don't sweat. It's not it. Like those waist trainers. That's another one.
Mhm.
That's actually a good example. People wrap up their waist with these things. I know part of it is,
Yep.
physically crushing your waist, but also people think, oh, if I wear this, I'll sweat a lot and out of my core, and it'll help me burn calories from there. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't work. So, like, you don't need to, like, wrap yourself in things to lose fat from certain areas.
Yep. And then with soreness too, it doesn't necessarily mean it was bad either. It doesn't mean it was
No.
good. You kind of want to be ambivalent about it. Now, if you're getting excessive soreness and tons of delayed
and all the time.
and all the time, that's actually then starts to be a problem. You should start to look into, well, one of three things. Like, yeah, am I actually doing way too much in my workouts? Which, like we said, yeah, that can be a problem. What's my nutrition like? Am I just not recovering? Am I not giving my body the materials it needs? And then 3 is, what's my sleep like, right? So sleep will help with recovery, manage stress, things like that. So those are the factors, right? So the reality is, if you're chasing soreness and getting soreness all the time, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you've been doing the same stuff for, I don't know, months, and you've been nothing but sore the entire time, and sometimes like debilitatingly sore, there is something going on.
Yeah. And if the reality is, if you train and you're never really sore, that's fine. That could be fine. It could mean that everything's on point. Now, if you're not progressing with your workouts
and you're not sore,
then it's something to look at. But again, the indicators you're using are the stuff you're tracking, right? So not the soreness.
Yeah.
All right. So those 3 myths.
Those are 3 out of many. So hopefully that maybe cleared some things up, so that you have a little something more realistic or tangible to actually shoot for and have be a goal during your workouts.
Yep. Put an end to them. No more spot reducing.
You can't do it.
No more. Number 2.
Chasing.
Yeah. Don't stop number 2.
No more chasing sweat and soreness.
And then also, stop fearing getting big and bulky.
You're not going to get bulky, I swear to you. We'll be okay.
All right. Well, we'll catch you on the flip side, on the other week.
See ya.
Thanks for listening.
As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.